First, open the background image in Photoshop, the main starting image that you're going to use. For this, I'm using the National Gallery in London, which is in Trafalgar Square. Okay, next, I'm dragging in the Pigeon's front-looking view. I fast forward this bit because there's a million tutorials online on how to cut out an image. Okay, here is the side view. I'm using the same image for left and right. You'll see later on that I just flip it. Okay, now I'm dragging in a grid line, ruler line, whatever you call it, just so I can align it properly. Then here I'm trying to align the left view and the front view two pigeons and just basically get them to match so it looks like it's just one pigeon. I'm not going to go into detail or what I did here. Basically it's just layer masks and the clone stamp tool and level adjustment, hue saturation, this, that and the other. Then next go to window, timeline. Mine was already open, I'm just showing you here where it is. Then click create frame animation. The icon is, I'm just clicking it there, is to duplicate the last frame or create a new frame based on what was in the last one. And then here I'm just hiding and showing the necessary frames, so the bird's looking forwards, left, forwards, right. And then if you want to duplicate a frame, you just drag it into the create new frame. Then there, okay, here I am changing the speed of the frames. If you select just one, it will change just that. If you select them all, it will change all the frames to whatever speed you specify. And you can see it as a 0.5 seconds just below the actual image underneath the frame. Then I duplicate the frames, move them around just so I can get the pigeons to look left, forward, right, and then back again. You don't see in this tutorial, but I just deleted or layer masked out the doorway, which the pigeon's then going to fly through. So now I'm duplicating the last layer and then resizing it. If you do it by percentage, it's a lot more easier to control. So in this case, I'm increasing it by 10% each time. If you look at the top of the screen, the height and width, each one by 10. And keep repeating this as many times as necessary for your own personal animation. I, in this case, did it probably a few too many times and made life harder for myself by adding more frames than needed. But I tried to make it as smooth as possible, and it's trying to make it animation smooth is one of the hardest things. Okay, then next we got the massive ball ache of having to go back through and individually apply the layer masks, select the entire canvas, copy and paste it, then delete the old version. If you don't do this and try and crop the canvas, it does all sorts of weird stuff because I've moved the layers in between the frames and the layers just jump around. So in this case, the layers would have jumped up. This part is one of the worst things about animating frames in Photoshop. Crazy repetitive. I wish I could do it as fast as it's happening right now on the screen. Okay, next I found the National Gallery's virtual tour and just took screenshots, basically from the doorway, zooming in and then tilting around to the left. I probably took about 10 to 14 different screenshots. Okay, then next, you drag them all into Photoshop, select them all, drag them in. On a Mac, I just had to click enter as many times as there are different images. Then next you need to group them so that so you can free transform them all together rather than having to do it individually. And then here, what I'm trying to do is hide the zoom tools on the top right and the white, I don't call it, border at the bottom. Oh yeah, I don't know a shortcut to hide all layers, but I just go to window timeline. Sorry, whatever it is on the toolbar. And then here, this took quite a lot of playing around with, and I gave up in the end of trying to align it properly. Because basically, what I wanted to happen was from the first frame to use the same image to that last frame, but it just doesn't work because technically the gallery should keep zooming as well. So technically, it's not actually correct, but it took too long to faff around with. And then resizing the frames between them, it just was jumping around and just looked terrible. Oh yeah, here I made a mistake. I've got the wrong layer selected, and then I will soon realise my mistake and delete it. There we go. Okay, then now I just need to resize it so the zoom tools and the bottom border are all out of the canvas. In the perfect world, I would have tried to align this image with the last view you see from the pigeon outside, and the jump between the pigeon outside and then inside is a bit, it's a bit rough. And then here is just having to hide and show layers. Again, I highly recommend making a shortcut to add a new frame, and then just testing it. You can see here it doesn't work with the inside view of the National Gallery. It just the two they don't go together very well. Okay, so I was playing around. I need to play around with the settings to get the speed right at the end, because at the moment it's too fast. I haven't shown it in the tutorial, but I played around with the time settings and fixed it. So this here is the final walkthrough. What I should have done is tilted the pigeon's head to the left as it flies through the door, so it makes more sense, so it looks more realistic.